waiting. Hey, Safe, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, Safe. Hello, Safe. Mr. Safe, are you here?
Fine.
Good, good. Happy to hear you. Okay. Hello.
Someone else joined us.
Yeah, we have Jamila here as well.
Ah,
Good.
Jamina.
Oh, yeah, I hear myself speaking.
You mean
Yes.
Coach?
Mm, Okay. So why don't we go ahead? Okay. So why don't we go ahead and we'll get started. Yeah, there's some echoes. Yeah, there's some echoes. I'm not sure why.
Where it's from? It's from mine. Let me see.
What's that? If I have the website open, close it. Uh, okay. Well, I closed it. Yeah. Yes. 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 I hear. Okay. Well, why, yeah, I'm not sure why. It's normally if there's feedback. Let me call. I'll leave the call and I'll join again. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Jamina.
Hey, you haven't started yet?
Not
No,
yet.
no, we didn't start because we're. Say again. Okay. Um, no, it's not the browser. I'm not sure. I've got everything closed. Okay. So let's go ahead and yeah.
Hello? Oh, okay. Just now I thought I disconnected. I disconnected.
Okay. Hang on a second, Johnny. Hang on a second.
They're all your brothers.
You know what?
Hello, Mary.
Yes?
You are lucky that your voice is being heard on YouTube. I also lucky. I was lucky that my voice also. This is the first time I heard my voice on YouTube. Yeah.
So, you mean you're also on YouTube right now?
No,
How can you hear it?
no. I listen YouTube. I listen to second session. Sorry,
you
I
mean
listened
yesterday?
to no, yesterday's session, last session
Oh,
today.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try it again. Maybe I had something else open, Microsoft Edge open. Maybe that was what was causing it.
And now it's okay?
Well, so far.
Okay.
I've never had that problem before. But you know what? Maybe it's because you weren't streaming before. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
When I had that open. Okay. Well, we're down to the four of us. Okay. So it's kind of hard to do a debate when we have four of us. But why don't we? If you're still, are you still streaming?
Well, I can stop it if it's not
Well,
gonna-
why don't we? Well, I mean, we could always talk about what we didn't finish talking about yesterday. in terms of you were going to provide some feedback. Now, I know we don't have a lot of people here, but you're going to provide some feedback about the topic from yesterday, and I was going to provide some feedback about the topic. Or we can...
Family Feud!
Huh?
Family Feud!
What, do Family Feud? Huh?
Kidding, just kidding.
You know, I wanted to at one point in time. I was actually looking at Family Feud online, and what's the other one? Jeopardy online, because I wanted to find a way to use them online with our group here, right? I was trying to see if there was a way to do that and to get the online version of that, and you know, because I think they're fun and they're interesting. It's a good way also to, you know, expand your vocabulary and stuff, right? So I was trying to find a way to do that, but it was hard to find an online version that could be used in this kind of environment. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there has to be. I just had a hard time finding it. But anyway, so we have some choices, folks. Mary and Hiroki and Rashid. To begin the debate, we probably need to have a few more people. But we could play a game, okay?
What game? Family Field. I joined the Family Field on a website several times.
Okay, we can play the game that we were talking about yesterday called I Say, You Say, okay?
How do you play? I don't know.
Okay,
You can try.
So I'll explain the rules, okay? And I'm making this up as we speak, okay? So basically, the way it's gonna work is, you know, if I say, okay, if we pick a category, so let's pick fruit, okay? So if I say the category is fruit, if I say banana, you say, and then you would say orange.
Orange?
Yes. Okay. And then basically the way, and then what's that? Oh, okay. So we could do it that way. We also have Camille's been with us now, and also we have Mila's with us, and Omen is back with us. We might have enough people now to actually begin the session if we want to begin the debate. Do you guys want to begin the debate?
It's up to you. I don't mind. It sounds like we have more and more people here now, right?
Yeah, we have you, Johnny, Hiroki, Mila, Rashid, Camille.
I don't know if
yeah,
Mila can speak.
Mila, are you here? Hello? Mila, are you here? Okay. Okay, Safe is trying to join again. You guys. Yeah, today is painful. Okay. Well, why don't we do the game? We could do the game. I'm just trying to figure out how you identify whose turn it would be. Why don't we start? I'll start it off, and then if somebody gets it wrong, they have to be the one saying, right?
How would you get it wrong?
Well, if I said, for example, if I say banana, and then you say, and let's say you said fish. Well, that's obviously not a.
So that's not
okay.
Fruit.
So then it's going to be that person's turn to do it. Okay.
But why would it be wrong?
Why would it be wrong? Because of the category is fruit. Fish is not a fruit.
But then we will always speak about fruits only.
Well, no, but we could change the categories. We can change them around. We could start off with fruit. We could go to vegetables. We could go to animals. We could go to synonyms, antonyms. We could do what we want. It's our game, right?
Well, I used to play a similar game with my cousins. It was very similar. I said a word. You have to say something related to the word that is directly related to that. For instance, if I say if you say banana, I would say ice cream. because there are, banana split flavor. So that would be correct. And if I say ice cream, some other could say snow, and it's related because it's as cold as snow. But if you say banana and I say
But you have to
car,
find the collections between, right?
yeah, it have to be a direct relationship with that word.
A car can.
If he says banana and I say car, then I will lose because there is no connection between banana and car. And that way you jump category, so it wouldn't be all.
You can find the collections.
Okay, so we could do something like that, but let's try this other way first, and we'll go to that. So what we could do, I just thought of another way we could do it, Johnny, when I was listening to you. So what we can do is, if you miss it, then you're out of the competition. So in other words, everybody is part of the competition. So and we can make it broad. We can make it broader. Okay. So for example, if I say Rashid, I say, and we could do antonyms, right? The opposites, right? We can make it more broad if we wanted to. Okay.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is find words by association, right? Which we could do as well. I mean, that's another way of doing it. Find a category. It's just a matter of identifying the category we want to use, right? Because there's obviously a limited number of fruits, and
yeah.
But we can do it either way.
I was saying by association. If you say something, if you say, for instance, car, I have to say a word that is directly related to car, like wheels, for instance, or garage. It's not the same category, but it is directly related to the car.
Right. Yeah, we could do that. We could start off with that and see how it goes, and then we can do. I mean, there's like I said, there's 1,000 different ways to do it, which actually I like either way, because it's all part of expanding your vocabulary, right?
Right.
Which is good, of course, and I like the association part, So we could do that. We can do by category. We can start off with the words of association. Then, if we want to, we can move into antonyms or synonyms, right? Mm-hmm. Because those are also important, right, in terms of expanding our vocabulary. Okay, so why don't we start off, everybody? Let me make sure that we know who's here. We'll stay around for a little bit until either we get more people or we make a decision we want to move forward into the debate. Okay. So right now, let me verify. So we have Johnny, we have Mary, we have Hiroki, we have Rashid, we have Saif, and we have Camille, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody else sneak in? Okay, so the game we're going to play is going to be I say, you say. So as Johnny just described, the way to do it is going to be I will, and it could be me or it could be somebody else. It doesn't have to be me. I guess I'll start it off though. So if I say, as Johnny gave an example, if I say car, you need to pick a word. Find a word that's related to it. Maybe you say tires or engine or I guess you could give the name of garage, mechanic,
garage, mechanic,
gas, petrol, right?
Even an airplane can be a vehicle, right? They are belong to vehicles, right?
Oh, so that's where this gets touchy. Okay, so they are all vehicle. Now, I think an airplane would fit better. Like if I pick the topic of or pick transportation, then you could say bus, you could say airplane, you could say car or truck. But if I specifically say car, I'm not sure that I would
wheel
that with
have to be directly.
So you guys get what you guys
associated with that object.
Right, not with a broader category, like you were saying, Mary, that they're both forms of transportation, and that's true. You're right, but that's a higher level association. So we're having more of a direct association with the word, okay? Alrighty?
Difficult. Challenge. Yes.
Okay, well, we'll try it. We'll try it, okay? So let's begin, okay? We're going to start doing this in the future, I think. It's a good way for us to, again, expand our vocabulary in a fun way. So, okay, let's make it simple. Johnny, I say house, you say...
Housewife.
Okay. Okay, okay. Mary, I say house, you say...
Bedroom.
Oh, interesting.
Bedroom.
Okay. Hiroki, yes, good. I say house, you say...
Living room.
Oh. Now remember, you get removed from the competition if you either repeat a word or if you say a word that's not associated. Okay?
Wait.
You're removed. Okay?
Something I forgot to explain is that
What?
if you say that word and I say another word, the next person have to say something related to the last word. For instance, if I say housewife, then the housewife word is the word now, and so on. Get it?
Okay. Yeah, so instead of being the so the house, okay, so
yeah,
what?
there's
Yeah,
no
I
main
understand what you're
word.
saying.
Yeah.
It's a chain.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's try this again. Okay. So Johnny, I say jungle. You say
Trees.
Sorry, you didn't finish house, so you should finish house, then you can go to the jungle.
Okay. So we'll finish the house. We'll finish the house, then we'll do it the different way. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do it. Oh my gosh, you guys are giving me a headache again. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think the last person that went was Hiroki, right? So you said living room, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Hatim, I say house. You say bathroom. Did you say bathroom?
Yeah, bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, the key here is to not repeat a word that's already been said. Okay. So Rashid, I say house, you say.
It is window.
Okay. Good.
Window.
Okay. Good. Okay. So safe. I say house, you say.
Housework.
Oh. Okay. Okay, Camille. I say house, you say.
Family.
Oh. Okay. Johnny, back to you. So we're gonna start running out of words pretty soon. Okay. So Johnny, I say house, you say.
Chimney.
Okay. Mary, I say house, you say.
Ceiling.
Ceiling?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hiroki, I say house, you say.
Couch.
Oh my gosh, maybe we're not gonna run out of words. Okay, Hatim, I say house, you say. Table. Okay, good. Rashid, I say house, you say.
Okay, Richard. My daughter likes to answer this. if
Sure.
you allow.
Sure.
Okay. What do you say?
Dog?
Door.
Door. Okay, door. Okay, good. Oh, your daughter's smart. Very good. Good answer. What's your daughter's name?
Hello, my name is. Her name is Tasneem. She's a bit shy. That's why.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah. Well, good answer. Very good answer. Okay. Safe. I say house. You say
Bed.
paint.
Bed. B-E-D.
Oh, bed. Oh, okay. Camille. I say house, you say.
Floor.
Oh, okay. So oh my gosh, we're gonna start. We got to run out of things pretty soon. Okay, we got the floor, we got the ceilings, we got the living room, we got the bedroom, we got the beds, we got the doors, we got the windows. Okay, so, okay, Johnny, I say house, you say.
Office.
John.
So you're thinking of a home office, right?
No, I just want to break the cycle.
Right? Oh, you okay? So you're out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you went. Okay, you did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Well, now it's gonna be downhill after this. Okay. So, Mary, I say house. You say.
Kitchen.
Okay. I think that's all the rooms almost. Okay, Hiroki, I say house, you say.
Sunroom.
Which one?
Sunroom. Is it English? I don't know. Okay.
What's the word?
Sunroom.
Sunroom?
Yeah, place. The room has a lot of window.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're saying. It's like, yeah, I know what you're okay. Yep. Yeah. People that have a lot of money have nice houses that have these little rooms where you can go and the sun comes in and they can read their books or whatever. Yep, got it. Okay, Hatem, I say house, you say.
Backyard.
Backyard? Oh, good. Rashid, I say house, you say, it could be you or your daughter.
Follow? Follow. House?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Drawing room.
Okay, so like the washroom, the drying room, washroom.
Drawing room. She says drawing room.
Dry room.
So the dry room is like where you have your
DRAWING, drawing room.
Oh, drawing room.
Oh.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! What kind of house does your daughter have, huh?
Drawing room, right?
Usually in our country, drawing room is there in most of the houses. I mean, most of the smart houses for attending guests.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, thank you. Good.
I think we have enough people.
Good answer. Okay, Hiroki, I say house, you say.
Okay.
What's it to the debate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just a second, Johnny. We're almost there. I think we're going to start running out of words pretty soon, okay? So you said bathroom, Hiroki?
Balcony.
Oh, balcony. Okay. Hatim, I say house, you say?
It's a garden.
Oh my gosh, maybe we're not going to run out of things to say, okay? Well, okay, so let's just give it one more minute, okay? So, Mary, I say house, you say?
Dining room.
Which one?
Dining room.
Dining room. Oh my gosh, how many rooms you guys got in the house? Okay, safe. I say house, you say?
Cooker.
Huh?
Cooker.
Google?
Cooker.
Cooking? I didn't. Oh, cooker. What's a cooker?
Cooker.
You mean like a pot and pan or something?
Like rice cooker, electric cooker, right?
Yeah. What kind of cooker? Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, I don't think because we could go to spoon, knives, forks, tile,
A lot.
rug, carpet. You know, mosquitoes.
So mosquito.
Okay. So, okay. In the future when we yeah. Well, in the future, we'll try the way that Johnny has suggested. That sounds like that might be a little bit more challenging. I guess if you guys were not so advanced, this would be easier. But all of you are too advanced. Okay, so and begin. We have about 50 minutes left, so we'll go ahead and begin the debate. Open with our social programs, not worry about any restrictions or criteria. Okay? So again, social programs without boundaries hurt society more than it helps. If you agree with that statement, you will be on Team A. If you disagree with that statement, you will be on Team B. And I think, Saif, you already wrote in the chat box you want to be on Team C, right? Because that's who you are. You are Mr. Team C, okay? So let's go ahead and begin. So, Mary, what team would you like to join?
Team A.
Okay, so Mary's on Team A, okay? Okay, thank you, Hatim. Wait, give me a second here. Okay, so let me go to Johnny. Did you want to join a team?
Yes, if I understand well what you mean by without boundaries.
Right, without limits, without restrictions.
I guess I understand.
Okay, in other words, in some countries, and particularly in Scandinavian countries, there really are not very limits on a lot of social programs. For example, when we say something like, they guarantee housing for all their citizens, right? Okay, right? Mm-hmm. So whether it's provided by the government or whether you buy it yourself, housing, they will always provide housing for all of their citizens, okay? Or I shouldn't say citizens, residents, okay? Right? Mm-hmm. There are some countries like Norway that no matter the situation, you could be employed, but even if you're unemployed, you still get money from the government, okay? Mm-hmm. And even though I cannot verify it because I don't know, I have not lived there before, I don't think there are a lot of restrictions. I could be wrong, but I don't think there are a lot of restrictions about that, okay?
Restriction within the same program, or how many?
Time. When I say restrictions, meaning how long you're eligible for that benefit. For example, in my country, in the United States, you're only eligible for, if you lose your job, you are eligible for unemployment. In other words, the government will pay you, okay, while you look for another job, okay? That's called unemployment. But there are restrictions. That's not a permanent situation. I think it's 1 year maximum, okay? Or something like that, okay? If you are on other programs, they have time limits and you have to re-verify every so often, right?
So maybe instead of saying without boundaries, we could say without standards.
Well, no, it's not
without
standards.
Criteria.
No. Well, it's basically, when I say boundaries, what I'm saying is that without any restrictions, right? A boundary is a form of restriction, right? It sets a parameter around it, right? That's a boundary, right? So the point here is that there's no restrictions, there's no limits, right?
Parameters.
No parameters are part of it. Yeah. Parameters are part of it. No. I mean, because there maybe are criteria, but they're not. They're not. They're not limitless. There are some limits, okay, but so.
Because when you say limits, in my head it sounds like how many of these programs are gonna be there. But if you say parameters, well, that's a different meaning. That's a different thing.
Well, yeah. So if I said social program, well, but when I say limit, okay, that there is no set number I have to worry about, right? I can collect unemployment. For example, we use the term unemployment. I collect unemployment for a year. I could collect it for 5 years. I could collect it for 10 years. Okay, that's saying without a limit. There's a limit is setting a threshold to it, right? That's a limit. That's a boundary, right?
That's one kind of limit.
Well, for purposes of what we're talking about, that's the limit I'm talking about. Okay.
Time limit. Then.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. So you're saying, are there age criteria or what the criteria are they're also associated with? That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, to me, boundaries. Okay, it could be age also. Okay, we could say people are not eligible for unemployment if they reach a certain age. Okay, right. So the topic is, right? Without boundaries, without limits, says that anybody could be eligible. Right? Anybody could be eligible for welfare. Okay. Whether, for example, in my country, if you have a child, you can claim welfare benefits for that child. Okay. But without limits means that maybe you can still claim it, even if you don't have a child, you can still claim it, right?
Well, I think the parameters word will be more accurate here. And if
Well,
that is the case, yes, the parameter is that you need to have a kid, but you need to be unemployed. Another parameter would be if you're unemployed only for 1 year, but if you are still unemployed after 1 year, then you're not eligible for that program anymore. So that's the parameter.
Well, it's okay. So we're going to disagree. Okay, so for now we're saying limits or boundaries. Okay, but you can associate. Because that's we're talking about at a higher level. What you're trying to do, I understand what you're trying to do, is get it down into a critical thinking analysis, get it down into a more definitive, right?
Yes, because
I understand.
I just need to understand what without boundary actually means inside the topic, because that will depend if I want to join Team A or Team B.
I understand. So the key, well, I think again, okay, we let's take this at the idea that without any kind of criteria or limitations, okay, something is, limits and limits can be defined, right? We know what limits are. Limits say you have to associate age, you have to associate time. That's a limit, right?
Okay.
Right? I have limits on certain things in my life, right?
All right.
But so think in terms of that way. So do you agree?
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. So you're with Mary, right? Excuse me. Okay. So let's go to Hiroki. Hiroki?
I think B.
Okay. So you think B. So just to make sure we're clear, you disagree with the topic, right?
Yeah, because topic affirms it's harmful. It's harmful for society, right?
Yeah, basically what we're saying is that if you don't have any limits, it actually hurts society. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I disagree.
Okay, so you're on B. Okay. Wait. Oh my gosh, you guys, now I'm getting confused. Okay, wait. Okay. So if you're on Team A, you believe that without that there needs to be boundaries. That's what Team A is saying. There needs to be boundaries. Okay. So let me make it clear. Hiroki, do you believe there needs to be boundaries?
No.
Okay, then you're on B. Okay, then you're on B. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Let's go to Rashid. Rashid, what team did you want to join? Rashid, are you here?
Yeah, I'll try to take part in Team B.
Okay, we'll put you on Team B. Okay, Rashid. Okay, Camille, what team would you like to join, please?
So I think I will be in A.
Okay, all right. So I think that was everybody here, right? Aman, did you want to join a team? Aman, are you here? Okay, so let me be clear. So on Team A, which Team A believes that basically there should be boundaries, or there should be limits. Okay, there's some kind of criteria, right? Used with people getting social benefits, social program benefits. Okay, right? Team B disagrees with that. Okay. And Team A, Mary, Johnny, Camille. Team B, Hiroki, Rashid. We did have Save here on Team C. He's not here now. So I guess I will play the role of listening to you guys. So let's go ahead and begin. And thank you. We only took us an hour and 20 minutes to get started, okay? So let's go to Mary. Mary, tell us why you joined Team A, please.
For me, I think social welfare programs need to be limited. If it's not limited, people wouldn't not have the motivation to do something because they can get everything they like and get. And if people can get everything they like, who will pay for it? If all of people do not work, of course the society won't develop, and like that, people work to enjoy the process, to enjoy the successful. If they are also satisfied, nothing can what word should I use? Maybe stimulate them to work hard. Of course, work, you can enjoy the process of working, and still working is tiring. Of course, you need something to stimulate. You need to feel better, and you need to think you have done something better than others. That's why you would like to be a hard worker. And of course, if all of people did not have their purpose, did not have their motivation to do the job, to make themselves better than others, to make their life seems meaningful, they would not work hard. The society would not move ahead. And of course, the social social welfare programs are important for the society because not all people are in the same situation. They might be in hard situations. They might need help to get out of the poverty, probably sometimes because of the natural disasters or self situations like an illness or something else, or family crisis, or some a lot of problems. They need help. So social does need this kind of program, but I still think they need to be limited. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go to Hiroki on Team B. Hiroki, you think there should be no limits, no boundaries, no parameters, no thresholds, no criteria. Tell us why.
Yes, think about the current country situation. Such kind of boundary is used for, I think it's not used for not paying the proper help, or not giving the hand for people needs for help. For example, after the nuclear power plant accident, Fukushima prefecture people could get some benefit. Also, those who lost a house in the earthquake, they could get a temporary house. But people who are not living in Fukushima, but close to Fukushima, couldn't get such kind of help for the accident. Also, the people who got a temporary house, even though it is temporary, they made a community for living, but government said the time was over. You need to get out from the house. So some people lost, couldn't get into the new community because some senior students are not so vital for that. They couldn't do that physically. So from the beginning, if the government got a limit for that, actually it's not flexible, because also they cannot get a detailed service. I mean, a detailed help, because human condition and everything are changing. But such kind of kind of limit always draw the line. Oh, national healthcare service as well. This treatment can be insurance can be applied, but this symptom is not. So maybe we need to rethink such kind of boundary. What is for that? Actually, in my how can I say, in my not concept, sorry, in my insight, it is used for the excuse of not helping people more than more than give the real detailed service or help for them. That's it.
Okay, all right. Again, at the end of this, I'll try and do my best to summarize what everybody's saying. So, Johnny, let's go to you, please, on Team A.
Okay. Well, before I start, I will try to define what boundary means to me, particularly. I will use that portion to say that for me it means parameters. And a parameter for me is a measurable factor forming one of a set of that defines a system or sets the condition of its operation. So when I say that we need parameters, I mean we need to have something to look at, right? Because without it, there is no way to differentiate who is eligible and who is not. And with the previous example that Hiroki was given, maybe the solution is not having parameters, not having boundaries. Perhaps it was just increasing the time limit, modifying the parameter, but we still need to have them. I want to give the example of money allocation. For instance, if I have a hospital in my country, if I am the president and I have to allocate some money for some hospitals to buy some medicine or to cost medicines, to cover the cost of medicine. If I don't set the parameter that, for instance, if that hospital has already all what it needs, and I still give that hospital more money for that, and the hospital is not using that money because they already have the medicine they need, maybe I will be wasting that money in some other areas that I need money for. So by not giving those other areas the budget that they need, I'm actually hurting the country in the long run as a final result. If I want to give the example of unemployment, if I don't set the boundaries, I don't set the parameter about who is eligible or not to receive money for that, for being unemployed, maybe that person will always want to be unemployed because he or she will all be covered by the government. But if I set the parameter that and that person will be eligible only if he remains unemployed for just 1 year, but if after that time the person still is still unemployed, and he will not get that money anymore. So that will give that person motivation to go and search for a job. But if you are that person, if you say, well, guess what, by just being on the couch all day I can receive money from the government, I don't need to do anything, then why would I?
Right.
And that's not good. Even though it is good for you, it would appear to be good for you, but it actually is not good, because without working, you are not contributing to the society. If you don't contribute, you are hurting the society. You are being a burden for the society, so you are actually hurting the society. So we need to have some kind of boundary, some kind of set of parameters to identify who is eligible and who is not. So that's what I think.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Johnny. Let's go to Rashid. Rashid, you chose Team B. Tell us why you chose Team B, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Can I see? Is it clear?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. My point is, we shouldn't, have any limitations to get social welfare. Suppose, an unemployed person, if he is, suppose job market in the global perspective, what we know that due to technological advancement, manpower necessity is getting, it is necessity is on the wane. So if we cannot find out, and finding a job will be more challenging in future. So if government thinks, okay, we should limit the time, we should set a limitation limitation of time or other thing, that it will be very much hard for the people, for unemployed people, or for the people who are not capable of doing job anymore. There will be their future will be thrown into limbo. They can't survive, and in that situation, the controversial of theory will be established in this world which we don't desire, and the theory is survival of the fittest. So are we going to start the practice? Are we going to put the theory into reality? No, we don't. We shouldn't do that. If we okay, so there are many offices nowadays are trying to give employment to the people on contractual basis, like 6 months termination, 6 months time, or year. So like as the temporary jobs. Sometimes they, in our country, we can say the people, the officials give employment to the people conditionally. On condition that anytime they can sack, and at least at best they can inform you before 2 months that you are going to be terminated. So if this sort of thing available in our society, and I think what to say that social welfare oriented programs should not be closed down, and that's my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm writing down a note. Okay, thank you very much, Rashid. So let's go to Camille. Camille, tell us why you chose Team A, please.
Team A. I I choose Team A because I agree with that statement. I think the help from the country is needed, but without any boundaries, it can be even dangerous, if I can say in that way. Generally, the people, I think, while there wasn't be any boundaries, the people will be trying to use as much as they can from any programs. So I think it can make the country to the bigger unemployment, yeah, because it's not will be effort to it's not would be better to stay at home, even if you can receive this home from the country, then go to work, because why do you need to work if you can receive the subsidies and the money from the country? So you don't need to work, you don't need to I don't even send your kids to the school. So I think this shouldn't be at this way. And generally, I think not many countries afford for that welfare. So I think this is only it can happen only in a few countries. So as I said, but these countries cannot be afforded in the future for this program, because a lot of people will be living from the money from the country, and it can make, for example, wave of economic immigrants to the country. So a lot of people can start to come into the country, and not to for the work. For example, like many people are now going for the work, but many people came and only take the benefits from not working. So it can as well be dangerous. And generally, I think the people, if they don't need to work, they will choose staying at home and taking the benefits, maybe traveling. So I think the generally the level of the country, the level of people there living, the economy, maybe some inventions, for example. So it can make that the country can go a few levels down in the competition with other countries. So that's why I choose Team E.
Okay. Good job, Team A. So let me summarize what I heard from the two teams. So first of all, thank you everybody on both teams. On Team A, there was a lot of emphasis on the idea of incentivizing or providing an incentive for people to contribute to society, right? And we do that through working, right? Or doing something that contributes to society, i.e. when you work, you pay taxes, and taxes help in terms of providing infrastructure and in some cases healthcare and other things, okay? So the idea was you need to incentivize or provide an incentive for people to work. Therefore, if you keep these benefits without any kind of criteria, whether it's how long you're eligible for them or other types of criteria, in other words, without limits, then you're not providing an incentive for people to go back to work. So that's what Team A was saying in some cases. You talked specifically, Johnny, for example, you talked about unemployment, which is what I just mentioned here. You talked about, for example, medicine. Mary, you brought up the same point as well in terms of, there needs to be a motivating factor. And Camille, you brought up the same thing as well, okay, that it actually can be harmful. And something that you guys also brought up is, where does this money come from, right? So, I mean, nobody has a money tree in their backyard that they could just go pull money off. So the money has to come from somewhere. So how do you create a healthy society, right, Team A? How do you create a healthy society if everybody's taking from the system instead of contributing to the system, right? So that was kind of at a high level, what Team A was saying. Team B was pointing to the idea, I believe, if I understood Hiroki, you and Rashid correctly, is that it can, too selective, okay? And that it's not flexible enough. And Rashid, you brought up the point that it can even be manipulated. These benefits could be manipulated and almost used as a weapon against some parts of society, okay? So if you take away the criteria, it makes it more open to everybody instead of just certain people, okay? So that was kind of the key point I got out of what Team B said, is that it needs to be not so selective, and it needs to be more of a universal approach to providing these program benefits to all people, not just a certain segment of a society. So in making a decision, when I look at the topic, the key word is society in this topic, okay? So if we think about a healthy society, what does it mean when we say healthy society? That means a society where people, have access to certain things, right? Where the quality of life is at a certain standard, right? So, and you don't have these things unless you have a good economic situation. If we look at countries where they have economic instability, often the first thing to go are a lot of these services, right? They're no longer available for the people. The reason you have these services is because people contribute to the economy, right? Okay, so I'm going to go with Team A, and the reason I go with Team A is because they made a direct connection between the idea that if you are incentivized to contribute to society, then society includes the economic perspective, and unless you have a functioning economy in a society, you can't provide these services to people in the first place. So maybe you can provide health care, maybe you can provide all these things to people for 1 year or 2 years. But what happens after the government runs out of money, right? You can't provide services if you don't have money to pay for those services. So the key point I got out of Team A was that for those people, it's not that Team A doesn't think there should be services. They do believe, but they believe that there ought to be, and I'll use the terms that Johnny used earlier, some kind of parameters, or I'll call it criteria, associated with who is eligible, who is not eligible, and to set some limits on that, okay? Because otherwise people may not want to go back to work. If you're making money sitting at home, what is the incentive to ever go back and work, right? So again, both teams I think had some sound arguments, but I think that for a healthy society to function, provide benefits for people long term that really need them, not the people that think they need them, but the people that really need them, okay? And to make that decision, you do, Johnny, going back to your words, you do need to associate, you need to have some kind of limits or some kind of a criteria that people are using to evaluate that, making decisions, right? So that's again, this is actually a interesting topic, and it's talked about all over. I think in all countries we talk about this. In my country, there's a lot of people that abuse the system, okay? A lot of people that take these benefits and they're really not even eligible, and that's wrong, okay? And it also, if somebody, let me give you another example. If somebody in my country has 3 kids and maybe they just, sleep around with different people and they end up, a woman in this case has 3 kids and she is not responsible, it's easy for her just to go to the government and get money from the government to help take care of those 3 kids. Now, I disagree with that because I think that, if you're going to have children, we should be responsible about that, okay? And not just look to have the government help us, So again, I think there should be some accountability for our decisions and choices, right?
Yes, and everyone can make a choose not to work. And without work, how can you contribute to the society?
Right. Yes. That's the point, is that there needs to be, for society to continue, for these benefits to be available for people that really need them, means that, there needs to be a contribution into it, right? People need to pay taxes, or there need to be other ways for the government to, some countries, again, a country like Norway, and Camille, you were just there recently, a country like Norway, which has a small population, and a lot of natural resources, maybe they can afford to provide more, okay?
But still, I guess they also have their limits, right?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I think every country has its limits.
Yeah.
I think, it would be, I don't think there is a country that exists that, as far as I know, that says anybody that comes here, if you want money, we're going to give you money, right? As far as I know, because it's got to come. I mean, it's got to come from somewhere, right? At the end of the day, if you build a hospital and you want to hire doctors and nurses to treat people, that costs money, right? If you want to build a school and hire educators, it costs money. If you want to build a road that cars can drive on, or a bridge across the river, everything costs money.
And who will build the house? Who will build the hospital or schools?
Yeah. So all these things all cost money. So, who pays the money? Well, the government in most cases pays the money, and they pay the money with the money we give them through taxes, right?
Yeah.
And how do we pay taxes based upon our income, right?
Yeah.
And how do you get income? You work, okay? So it's kind of how do I say it? Common sense idea. The problem is, in some cases, I think, and this is, I think, where Hiroki and Rashi would come from. In some cases, maybe it's not managed in such a way that the right people are getting the help, okay? Or maybe it's managed so tightly that it's too limited. Okay, well, that's a valid point. So you have to look at your policy. Go ahead.
Also, you mentioned about tax, and actually, rich people can reduce their tax, or company can reduce their tax. They're using tax haven. They are using advantage. But poor people cannot. And what happened now here is, people who are lower income, so they can, in the criteria of the social help money, they have to abandon their car. They don't get a car, but in a rural area, it's very difficult to get, the job without car. Also live very hard life. So as a result, they injure the very low payment job. So in such a way, also the abuse of social welfare is very few percent, but many people believe many people abuse the system. Many people don't say about such tax haven problem, but they consistently say, that abusement, because big companies or rich people sponsor of mass media, so mass media didn't report so much about it. So that's the problem.
Yeah, no, there are, and you bring up a valid point that, we often are only presented with selective views through whether it's the media or elsewhere, right? Poor people tend to be an easy target, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the money to defend themselves in most cases. There's a stigma, right? There's a stigma that's associated with being poor, right?
Mhm.
Right? There's a social stigma. So you're right. I mean, that's a valid point that, and compared to the people that are billionaires or multimillionaires that have the money to afford to work around the system or manipulate the system, right? Manipulate the tax system or other things, right? So no, you. Mhm.
Also, people who cannot work, is it unworthy for the society? Because in the end, in such situation, but if the society think they are not productive, so they are not nothing, they are nothing,
Well, yeah.
and nobody, and I don't think it's a healthy society.
No, I don't think so either. I don't necessarily think that, and you have to then start defining work, because a lot of people that maybe don't work for income, they volunteer their time, right?
Right.
You could look, I would say in my country, I can't speak for other countries, but in my country, a significant percentage of people that say retire early, okay, or they still continue to contribute. They might help out in a what we call a soup kitchen that gives people to homeless. They might mentor people. So being a constructive, contributor to society doesn't only mean having a job and paying taxes. There's other ways there, to go, doing environmental cleanup, right? A lot of people volunteer here to go to the beach and clean up trash from the beach, okay? That's contributing to society because it's helping the environment, right? So I think we have to be careful with what, we said. I think you bring up some valid points. Why don't we do this? Yesterday, Camille, you couldn't join us yesterday, and Johnny, we didn't get a chance to hear from you, and I didn't get a chance to speak. Why don't we, since we're on YouTube, and I think we have the ability now to talk about, let's go back to yesterday and the topic yesterday for the people that did not get a chance to speak yesterday. Camille, are you familiar with what we talked about yesterday?
Not exactly.
Okay, yesterday we had just a general discussion, and we were talking about, two types of welfare programs. One was helping the poor, the other was helping the people that are homeless, and these can obviously be related to each other. And we were talking about, in our specific countries, how are these programs being handled, what kind of impact these types of problems have on our general society, and then what do we think are solutions for them. So in Poland, do you see a large problem with people that are living in poverty or homeless in Poland?
So generally, there are, I think, many people homeless in Poland. For example, in my city, but I don't know if we have any programs to help them. I know that we have the place, for example, when they can go in winter to receive the food, the shelter, but I don't sure if we have any programs, for example, which can help them to I don't know, buy a house or something, because their houses are quite expensive, and many of these people, for example, are alcohol addicted. Yeah, so it's mean that not often they want to change their situation, but if the people want to change the situation, I think the first is to find the job. So the first thing is to find the job. But if you are homeless, I don't sure if it's possible to find something. So I think that maybe the people from the place where this from these shelters when the people can go, maybe they trying to help them, and the first situation is that these people are need to want this help, and for example don't drink for a long time, and find a job. So I think if you find a job, you can rent some house, and if you don't drink and if you don't spend money for alcohol, you can save money. So maybe it's a good moment to start.
Okay, so let me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to say that I didn't hear about any programs, for example, for giving the houses. We have the social houses for the families which don't afford. But for example, if someone is homeless and wants to work, I didn't hear, for example, that they can receive the houses or flat, but probably they need to work and rent by their own.
Okay, so let me see if I can paraphrase what you said, because I have a question, but I just want to make sure that I understood you correctly. So you said that you guys actually do have some people that are homeless. You think that one of the reasons why this situation happens is a lot of people have maybe some substance abuse, alcohol addiction problems, yeah. Right? It's a large part of it, right? And you.
So yes, I think it's generally because of alcohol problem. The most of people.
Okay, so for these people that have these problems and end up homeless for whatever reason, obviously if you're homeless, it makes it very difficult to get a job, right? Most people would argue that being homeless is a major obstruction to being able to get a job, because an employer is going to ask you, okay, where are you living? Give me your address, right? You need to have a place to clean, to change, put on clean clothes, take a shower, so it's a major impediment or a major obstruction to being able to get a job if you're homeless. So it sounds like in your case, or not in your case, and obviously, this can lead to the government only has so much money, right? Again, not every government has all the money in the world to spend. So you said though that your government does offer people shelter, right? But it's only it's very selective, like maybe in the middle of winter time, right? Because of the idea that people could freeze to death, right?
And for example, they need to be sober to spend the night there. So sometimes they don't want to go. They are looking for shelters and don't want to go there.
So this leads me to the question I want to ask you. So it seems like the root cause is substance abuse problems. So does the government offer programs for people to get to deal with that, to deal with alcohol addiction? Does the government offer medical or services to help people deal with that problem with drinking?
I'm not sure. Maybe there are some programs like to help the people who want that help. For example, to meet with the specialist, for example, AA group to speak. Yeah. So I think in that way they are helping, but this is I think the main help. So the shelters, and maybe they can sign up to the AA group.
Right, Alcoholics Anonymous. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really these other service organizations that try to help. Okay.
For example, for example, the brother of my mother, so my uncle, he is, I think, generally all his life alcoholic, yeah, because he don't work. I think maybe 10 or 15 years, and but he received generally this main help from the family. So, for example, he lived in the flat with his family, but he never worked, and he came to his parents for, I don't know, for we can reach in dollars for $2, $5. Now, for example, when his kids are in my age, so his daughter has 25, his son 30, he can go to them and take from him some, ask for money, yeah, for a few dollars to the. He's saying maybe for some tickets to the bus or something, but it's my thing for cigarettes and alcohol. Okay. So it's help. It's the help from the family. So this for the main things, for the clothes and for the few basic things.
You know, it's funny. Yesterday, well, it's not funny, but yesterday when we were talking about this, Soso in Algeria made a comment that when people are having a hard time. Now, in their country, it may not be because of alcohol, it may be for other reasons. But what she said is in Algeria, the family gets very involved with helping people that may be going through these kind of situations, right? So, you know, that's one view. And you know, the family, of course, is in many places a type of support structure for people. And some people don't have that option, right? So if people don't have that option, then, you know, the government should, or the community should step in or can step in. Okay. All right. Thank you. Very interesting.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's go to Johnny. Johnny, you didn't get a chance yesterday to tell us about Argentina. So what do you want to say? Johnny?
Can you hear me?
Are you here?
Can you hear me? Okay. There's a delay. There's very little I have to say about this.
Okay.
I would say that the cause of homelessness in each country is different, and they vary. I mean, it's not always just one cause. There isn't just one factor that causes it. For instance, there could be a problem with the minimum wage. It could be a problem inside the house, family problems, like, you know, parents being not good parents and, you know, motivating kids to leave the house. Or it could be some other factors. There are many factors that leads a person to leave the house. And I would say that there is only so much that a country can do about that, and also that each country has its priorities. Not all country has the same priorities. For instance, a clear example, when you see countries at war and they are waging wars, maybe they will need to reallocate many of their resources, many of their money into something else that if they weren't in war they wouldn't, like, you know, I don't know, buying guns or buying supplies, you know, things that if they were in another kind of situation they wouldn't spend on that, but they put their priority on that. And by the same token, you have countries with different kind of problems and they prioritize their resources. So in my country, I'm not sure, I don't work for the government, so I don't know what its priority is, but I would say that I think all countries try to solve that issue. Well, solve is not the right word, maybe minimize the issue. Now, because coming back to something you said yesterday, all countries have this kind of problems. The rate, though, varies depending on the country, but they all have this problem, and I think they will always have this problem. Homelessness is not something that you will solve, not in the, at least the way that this world works. You will not ever solve that. So we will always have that situation. The key is, though, is to reduce it. But doing that, will require allocation of resources. And like I said before, countries have their priorities. It might be the homeless situation, might be some other things. There are things that a government can do, and there are things that a government should not do and cannot do. For instance, the situation of a teenager leaving the house because she or he felt that he was not being respected by parents, or being, I don't know, maybe he or she didn't feel that he was or she was loved by the parents, and maybe there are some other reasons. Maybe he or she was being discriminated, perhaps for some kind of personal things that leads that person to leave the house, and that's something that a government cannot intervene and should not intervene. So there's only certain things that a government can do to help homelessness. And as for the citizens, what can we do to help homelessness? I don't think that it is the citizens' job to solve the homeless situation of a country. Although we can do some things to help ourselves, but I don't think that it's our duty to help everybody to solve the country's problem like that. I think that's the government's job to do that, not the citizens. That's what I have to say.
Okay. So in Argentina, I know yesterday when Raul was here and he was talking about Chile, and since they're your neighbor, right? Basically, what I got out of what he was saying, that in Chile the government does a lot to try to provide housing, etc. So as far as you know, does the government there try to do that? Do they try? I mean, do they have centers where people could go for job training, maybe to develop skills, to be able to enter the workforce? I mean, do they offer subsidies for renting, or do they have special programs for low income people to be able to buy a house? Do they have those kind of initiatives in Argentina?
Specifically to buy a house, yeah, I think there are some. I mean, there are many kinds of different social programs developed by the government. For instance, if you want to buy your own house, or if you want to even rent an apartment, there are some kind of special procedures depending on your personal situation. Like, for instance, if you are living in a city that is not your city, and perhaps all your family was, like it was my case, living in another city, and all the properties that you have was in another city, but you want to rent an apartment in this new city, some of the regulation in my country is that you need to have ownership of a property in that city if you want to rent something there, which is kind of silly. Because if you already own that, I mean, if you are looking for an apartment to rent to live in it, it would be silly if the bank or this entity ask you to already own an apartment in order to rent one. It would be silly because if you already own it, then you wouldn't have to rent anything. You already own one.
Okay.
So that's very silly. So.
Right.
In that kind of situation, the government offers certain kind of facilities, certain kind of. It will give you some kind of advantages if you are in that kind of situation. If you are not living in that country, if you're not originally born in that country and in that city, they will offer some kind of other procedures for you to follow. but it will always depend on your personal situation. There, like I said before, there's always some kind of parameters. Uh,
Right, right.
so, as for the homeless situation, yes, the government offer some kind of programs, but there are parameters. Like, for instance, uh, you will be eligible to get that kind of salary only if you have family. If you
Uh-huh.
have a wife, declared wife, you are legally married, and
Uh-huh.
if you have kids, and if that kids it's minor, um, and even if you're not married to your couple, well, if you're not legally married, well, at least you need to spend certain amount of years, a certain number of years with that person living together in order to consider that as marriage. Um, and only in that kind of situation you will be eligible for getting that kind of salary if you're not. But if you're a single person, for instance, living in your parents' house, it wouldn't matter your age, it wouldn't matter how long you have been unemployed, you're not eligible because you don't have a family, you don't have kids, you don't have wife.
Okay. So it's almost a form of discrimination.
Something like that, yes. That is the parameter that they set.
Okay. 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 Huh. Okay. Thank you, Johnny.
Sure.
So let me go ahead. We're gonna wrap up here shortly, but let me go ahead and give my views from my country standpoint and in general. So I wrote down 3 or 4 key things that we need to consider, and I brought this up yesterday and in the previous days. I wrote down the phrase cause and effect. I think all people hopefully understand what this means, right? Cause and effect. Okay, so basically I broke down 4 things. 1 is economics, 2 is culture, 3 is political instability, or I should say maybe political stability, and the 4th I wrote from yesterday is corruption. Okay, so the reason why I wrote down these 4 things specifically is that I think when we think about poverty and homelessness are related to each other, right? We can't, most people that are homeless are in that situation because, not everybody, but most are in that situation because they can't afford a place. Most people don't like living on a street, right? I think most of you guys would agree with that, okay? Now there are some, and a lot of these people, maybe they have other issues, right? Maybe they have a mental disease, okay? Maybe they have substance abuse problems, okay? Drugs or alcohol, okay? So there are some people that are on the streets, okay, because of these other problems. But most people would say that they don't want to live on the street, okay? Most people would say that they don't want to be homeless, okay? So poverty is a major contributor to that, okay? So, why do we end up in a situation where we have, in my country, there is, for a lot of people that don't know, we have a pretty large population of people that are living under the poverty line, which is a way to measure somebody that's living in poverty, okay? We actually have a pretty large number of people, okay? And often these people are in that situation, maybe economics, right? In other words, if you're living in an area and there are no jobs, okay, again, the government will usually try to do what they can, but it's temporary. It's not permanent. It's not a permanent solution, okay? So, you find people that are living on what we call food stamps or, some kind of, benefits from the government, okay? Now, on the positive side, the government does do quite a bit, and not just the government, but working with private industry, working with volunteer organizations. They will try, in many cases, to deal with this. They might offer job training for people to learn new skills. Again, if people have children, they will offer assistance for the people that have children, okay? What we call food stamps, okay? To make sure they get proper nutrition. So there are a lot of, I think the largest part of our budget in the United States goes to help people. Okay, second largest is the military. Okay, but I think the largest is to help people. Okay, so whether it be healthcare in my country, it's a law that if you have an emergency medical situation, a hospital cannot turn you away. They have to treat you. They have to see you. They have to. It's the law. Okay, they can't tell you no, go away. Okay, so that's good. That's good. But it doesn't really address the core issue. So we do have problems in the United States with some people living in poverty. We do have problems in the United States with people that are homeless, okay, living on the streets, okay? And a lot of that, again, is not only because of the economic situation. Some of it is because we have people with mental diseases or substance abuse problems, right? One thing I think that's really important in terms of understanding this is there's what we call a support structure, okay? And to me, there are 4 categories to a support structure. One is family, okay? We talked about this, Johnny, you brought this up, okay? Family support in many situations is really important. Some people don't have that, okay? If people do have that, that is important. 2 is community, okay? So the local community, okay? 3 is private industry, okay? In other words, not the government, but actually companies trying to do, or organizations trying to do what they can to help, okay? And 4th is the government, okay? So these 4 things are really part of the support structure or infrastructure for people, that are going through these hard times. What do I think can be done to address these issues? I think on Wednesday we read an article where they did an experiment in Utah, the state of Utah, where they gave people that were homeless, they gave them homes. Okay, they gave them a house. Okay, it probably wasn't a fancy house, it probably wasn't a big house, but it was a place a person could go to, that they had a roof over their head, they had hot water, right? They had a place to shower. Okay, to me, that was a really good idea, because what it does is, we all know that it provides stability. Okay, when you're living on the streets, how can you plan for next week? How can you plan for how do you get ready for a job interview if you're living on a street, right? But if you're living in a place that's your own, that offers some stability, you can apply for jobs, right? You can work on your resume or CV, okay? You can take a shower, you can dress in decent clothes, okay? So, I think providing that sense of stability is important. A lot of people, though, have these substance abuse problems. So I think this is where, Camille, what we talked about is I think this is where, the government does need to step in and offer treatment for these people that have these problems, okay? And offer services, for these people that have these issues. Again, how do we get money for that? Well, most of that money comes through our taxes, right? Our taxes are used to pay for these kind of services. In California, where I live, I'm proud of my state. They try to do a lot. They're not perfect, but they try to do a lot to help people, I believe, okay? So I guess my point is, and I'll wrap it up, my point is that, every country, again, has these problems. There isn't one magic solution. I do believe that you need to create opportunity for people. That's part of the job of the government, okay, is create opportunities for people, because if people are contributing to society, they're contributing by working or volunteering, okay, they deserve to get something back. Again, people go through hard times. They might become disabled. Maybe they get sick, right? They need help, okay? So our communities and our government should be there for these people when that happens, okay? But there's also an expectation that people should contribute to society as well. So it's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street, okay? All right, so that's all I had to say about it. I think that today was kind of a strange day, so we did a little bit of everything. We tried to do some games, I think, Johnny, we're going to take your recommendation for the future for the games. The more I was thinking about that, I like that association thing. So maybe we'll do that in the future.
Nice.
We did a little bit debate. We did a little bit discussion. Okay, so we did a little bit of everything. So it was a little bit unorganized in the beginning. I apologize for that. We'll try always to improve if we can. All right. So thank you, and I would encourage everybody. Johnny's been streaming these on YouTube so that if people want to listen to them, you can hear yourself. I think when it streams on YouTube for our Friday video chat, you can also see the video, right?
Yep.
Johnny?
In a little corner, yes, you can see.
Yeah. So if you want to, yep. So if you want to, check it out and see what we're talking about, you could go to our channels. I think they're also posted on our website, right?
Right.
Or are they only on the YouTube channel?
Also on the website.
Right, yes, or right, no? Okay, so you could go to our website, check them out there. You could go to our YouTube channel, check it out there. But the point is, if you want to listen to yourself speak, again, a day like today was a little bit unorganized or disorganized in the beginning. But yesterday I thought we had a really good session. So if you want to just kind of check it out, I think it was pretty interesting. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And we had this relatively small group today. But nonetheless, it's all about quality, not about quantity. Okay.
Yeah, quality is most important than quantity.
Yes. Sure. Dway. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Camille. Say hi to Olivia, and thank you, Rashid.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Johnny.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right.
You're welcome.
Sure.
To you.
Okay. Bye.
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 Bye.